Hello. Today is all about magic wands. So exciting. Hi. If we haven't met yet, my name is Chris Gearing. I'm a parent educator and coach, and I help smart, loving parents get gentle parenting to actually work, like in the real world, where we live, and things are hard sometimes. I have about 30 years of experience working with families. I've got a master's degree in early childhood special education, got a few books that I've published. They're behind me. And I actually have an exciting new program I'm going to share with you at the end. And it's all about chores. But for today, let's talk about magic. There is something, you can call it magical, when you understand the science behind a rainbow. It doesn't take away the wonder and joy. There's a lot of science behind deep breathing. When you take a deep breath, there's actually a chemical reaction that you trigger. It releases certain hormones and chemicals in your brain that help you calm down. It helps to lower your stress response. It lowers your heart rate, your blood pressure, all of these wonderful things. And I don't know about you, but if you look at your kid and say, "Do your deep breaths, honey," sometimes your kid's going to go, and this is a direct quote, "I don't want to breathe." Because that happened once. There are a ton of ways to help your child learn how to take nice, deep breaths, especially when they need help regulating. For little ones, this is actually a really easy one to do. And it's not complicated at all. You can see. It is a stick, a feather, and tape. That's it. You take the feather and you tape it to the stick. And it looks like that. That's it. You can color the stick if you want, but you don't have to. These are small, they're light. When my kids were little, I had one in the diaper bag. I had one in the glove compartment. I left a couple in their backpacks. I gave some to the teachers at school. I actually had a parent once who said they used it when their kid had a doctor's appointment and needed to take deep breaths. And the doctor was like, "Wow, I've never had a kid do it so easily before." So it really works. Here's how you introduce it to your child. First of all, never introduce any tool to your kid when they're stressed out. You do not want to introduce this when they're already dysregulated. You want to introduce brand new tools when you and your child are feeling connected and calm, so they associate these tools with that feeling. And then you want to practice and not use them when they're feeling dysregulated, actually several times. Ideally, your kid will go and get this out when they need it. So what you do is you say, "Hey, let's make some magic wands together." And then you tape a feather to a stick. And then you say, "Okay, here's how it works. Anytime you feel angry or stressed, what you can do is take your magic wand and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you make the feathers dance." And if you do that 3 times, nice deep breath in, out through your mouth, the magic is you'll start to feel better. Isn't that cool? Do you want to practice some? The wonderful thing about tools like this, and I have a bunch of them, they're here in this book, Cuddle Meditation. I've got 20 different activities you can do with your child to help with self-regulation. They're all focused on sensory processing or sensory regulation. The thing is, your goal as a parent is not to regulate your kid. We can't really do that, especially after a certain age. When they're tiny, yes, we regulate our child, right? It's really important that you hold your tiny baby so they don't get too cold. Make sure you give your child milk or formula because they're not able to do that on their own. But as your child continues to grow and mature, they got to start learning how to do this on their own. So all of that self-regulation that we do is built on something called co-regulation. It's a platform that you and your child both stand on. And when you are really calm, what I like to say is you're letting your kid borrow your brain so that they know what calm looks like, what calm feels like. And this ties into a whole bunch of other things like mirror neurons. And I'm not going to go into that now. You're calm, you're centered, and that's going to help your child be calm and centered more easily. It's not going to happen right away, especially if your kid's in a state of great dysregulation, if they're screaming or having a tantrum. But the calmer you can be, and these work for grown-ups too, the calmer you can be, the more it's going to help your child. And the more of these tools you can introduce to your child at a young age while you're teaching them how to tune into their bodies and figure out which tools work for them and which tools don't, because everybody's different. Every child is different. I got twins, remember? They don't regulate the same way. They never have. That's okay. It's okay. My job is not to figure it out for them. My job is to help them figure it out for themselves. And this is one way you can start doing that when kids are really young. You can use this with a 2 or 3-year-old. As long as they're old enough to keep it out of their mouths, they're old enough that they can practice taking deep breaths and figuring out when they will need it. It's really magical when you see your kid use one of these tools on their own for the first time. One of my favorite stories is, the book is called Cuddle Meditation, because when the kids were 4, I was trying to build up a regular meditation practice. So I'd get up early in the morning and I would sit in the living room and I would meditate for 10, 15 minutes or so. And every morning without fail, my son would wake up and he would come out and he would interrupt me, which was not so great for my meditation. Ugh. So I got frustrated a couple of times, and then I was like, you know what, why don't I just look at it from a different perspective? So what I did was I invited him to join me. And he sat on my lap and he wrapped his arms around my neck and he snuggled up and he put his head against my chest. And what I did was I would say, okay, we're gonna meditate together. Can you breathe with me? Breathe in and out. And I did that a couple of times. And then I would say, can you hear Mama's heartbeat? And he would put his ear against my chest and he would say, yeah, I can hear your heartbeat. I'd say, great. Can you feel your own heartbeat? Teaching him how to tune into his own body. And he would go, yeah. And it would last maybe 1 minute, usually less than that. And that was all he needed. He'd go and play, and then I would finish my meditation. And this turned into like a thing that I did with both kids. And, you know, the twins are 14 now. They can regulate themselves actually pretty well these days. They don't usually need me. But up until, I would say, at least age 10 or 11, if they got really upset by something, what I would see was this. I'm upset. Let me listen to your heart. Let me listen to your heart. And they would run over to me and they would hug me as tight as they could. And then they would listen to my heart. And I knew in that moment, they still needed me for that co-regulation because they're still building those skills. And I would ground myself. I would take a nice deep breath, wrap my arms around them, and I would just be still and quiet. And that was all they needed. Within a minute, they could calm down, regulate themselves, and then we could talk about what was going on and, you know, how to fix whatever problem it was. That's the story behind the book. That's the story I love to share with parents about how this stuff, it really does work. And it's not a one-time fix. It's not something you do once and then it goes away. This is a toolbox that you're building up over time that you and your child use together until they don't need you to use it anymore because they know all the tools they need and they know how to use them themselves. So that's all I'm going to share today about magic wands. I did promise I was going to tell you about a new course that I've created called The 30-Day Reset Chore Magic. If you are interested in helping your child learn how to do chores on a more regular basis and why it's really, really actually good for them in a lot of ways, that chores are a fantastic way to build connection between you and your child. They're a great way to build feelings of self-competency and self-worth within your child. Please let me know. You can reach me directly. You can comment below if you like, or one of the links below is a consultation link, and you can get straight on my calendar from there. And I also have a free gift of the book on chores, which is right there behind me. So if you'd like more information about chores and kind of get an idea of what the class is about, you're more than welcome to click on that link and download my free gift to you. All right. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.